There are children who learn what love is not, long before they ever learn what it is. They watch it in the distance, something that happens to other people, something soft, warm, and unreachable. They hear the word often, maybe even too much, but the body never feels it, and the body never forgets that. When a child grows up unloved, the nervous system learns to live on alert, not the kind of alert that hears danger, but the kind that feels the absence of safety. This is the quiet panic of emotional starvation. No hugs that anchor you, no eyes that light up when you enter the room. The child learns to become small, efficient, pleasing, anything that might earn a hint of warmth. Over time, the brain rewires itself around survival. The amygdala, the brain's alarm bell, grows overactive, scanning not for predators but for rejection. The prefrontal cortex, the part that regulates impulse and logic, bends itself toward reading tone, analyzing silence, decoding expressions. It becomes a child's full-time job, figuring out how to be lovable, and that job never ends. When the nervous system never experiences secure love, it doesn't know how to rest. Even in calm, it prepares for loss. Even in joy, it anticipates the fall. The vagus nerve, the body's peacekeeper, stays tense, stuck between fight and freeze. Love becomes an unsolvable puzzle, not a felt experience. You begin to confuse anxiety for connection, attention for affection, chaos for care. This is the neuropsychology of love deprivation. It's not a wound of the mind alone, it's a full body imprint. A child unloved grows into an adult who flinches at softness, who questions good intentions, who sabotages comfort because comfort feels foreign. And yet, they crave it so deeply that they mistake intensity for intimacy. The unloved child learns to build scaffolds around the heart. They intellectualize emotion, mastering empathy while never fully receiving it. They become therapists, caretakers, healers, professions where love can be given without ever needing to be returned. This is not coincidence. It's a nervous system still trying to rewrite its story. You see, when a child is starved of love, they don't stop loving. They stop feeling lovable. So they overgive, they chase, they mirror, they become addicted to potential, drawn to those who replicate the emotional distance they grew up around. Because the brain loves the familiar, even when it hurts. It's a kind of repetition compulsion, the unconscious attempt to win love from someone who cannot give it, just to finally prove you were worthy all along. But what's cruel is this: the child inside you still believes that love must be earned. So, as an adult, you apologize too often. You try to be easy, agreeable, adaptable. You stay silent when your needs aren't met. You shrink when someone gets too close. Because somewhere deep down, your nervous system whispers, if I am less, maybe I'll be loved more. Psychologically, this is what trauma does. It teaches you to internalize neglect as identity. Instead of realizing they couldn't love me, you learn I am unlovable. And that belief doesn't fade with time. It burrows into behavior. You find yourself drawn to people who confirm it, situations that replay it, emotions that validate it. The brain is a pattern-seeking organ, and if love was pain, then pain becomes home. But something remarkable happens when awareness begins to bloom. When the adult starts listening to the child within, the cycle starts to crack. You begin to see how your hypervigilance was never weakness. It was brilliance. Your people-pleasing was adaptation. Your sensitivity was radar. All of it, every coping mechanism, was love trying to survive in a loveless environment. And yet, survival isn't the same as safety. Eventually, the nervous system begins to long for peace. Not just relief, but real peace. The parasympathetic system, the body's rest state, has to be relearned. This is why healing feels so slow. Your body is unlearning urgency. You are teaching it that love does not require suffering. Healing from not being loved as a child isn't about finding someone to love you perfectly. It's about finding a way to love yourself consistently, to become the parent you needed, attuned, gentle, firm, and safe. It means speaking to your inner child not with pity, but with reverence. You made it. You're here. You are always worth being loved. As you begin to practice self-attunement through therapy, stillness, art, or solitude, something miraculous happens neurologically. The anterior cingulate cortex, a region involved in empathy and self-regulation, starts to repair. Oxytocin, the bonding hormone, begins to circulate again. The brain learns that safety isn't a threat, that love can exist without control. And so, little by little, you learn what love truly is, not as a concept, but as a felt reality. Love becomes quiet, steady, grounded. It's no longer a performance, but a presence. You stop begging for scraps and start growing gardens. You stop shrinking for approval and start expanding for truth. And one day, you look around and realize that the world feels softer, not because it changed, but because your body finally trusts that it can be held. That is the real healing. The unloved child doesn't disappear. She just finally feels seen. And in that moment, her survival turns into sovereignty. Thank you for sitting with me, for holding space for this quiet ache that so many carry but few can name. If this spoke to you, remember, your need for love was never weakness. It was proof that you were born connected, whole, and worthy. You were never unlovable. You were simply unseen. And now you see yourself. That's where the real love begins.